A helpful analogy when we're talking about students and building these new fires as they come together, we think of the new fire once we light that cotton ball as a living, breathing entity. It needs to breathe, it needs to eat. So we need to give it oxygen and we need to make sure that it's fed because it's hungry. If it's hungry and fed well, then it'll grow into a nice fire. That's what we're looking for and taking a look at it. So common mistake. Number one, people starve this young fire. So I'm going to light the fire. And now the mistake, they've gathered materials that they're looking for and they one stick the fire. What we don't want to do is one stick the fire. I get my toothpick materials and I simply start building this little tiny fire and I look at there and take it and put it in play. Not necessarily what we're looking to do. It's not that it won't catch the fire, it's not effective and we're burning time with our cotton ball. It only has so much time to operate. So what we want to do is we want to take our whole bundle and we're going to put it on there all at once, and that's going to get that material in play, get that heat building just as fast as we possibly can. Another common mistake when we start is to actually feed this new fire too much or in a way that it can't breathe, so we smother it. So you want to be careful not to smother it. We mentioned no one sticking the fire. We also don't want to smother it. So when we go through and we take our cotton ball out, we're ready. We tear it apart. Basic technique, put the bases together. Waiting for the platform and brace. Take our metal match, good strike. Fire kicks off. Now, the excited student will come in and they'll literally smother the baby. We don't want that fire put out simply because it can't breathe. Utilize the platform and brace for what it was designed. It gives us the free flow of oxygen that we need. Often when students make cotton balls, they make a really easy mistake, and that is they simply don't put enough material, enough petroleum jelly into the cotton ball. So for example, what we're looking at here as the student is making a cotton ball, exposing these fibers and getting it ready, we take a small amount of Vaseline and I put this in there and the student is reluctant to actually work the material in. And what you'll find is something that looks like this. And now that the cotton ball is done, you can actually still see dry cotton mixed amongst this part of the material that goes out. Now, this will burn just fine. The problem is it doesn't have enough Vaseline or petroleum jelly in it to burn as long as possible. We want 8 minutes worth, 6 to 8 minutes, rather than shutting off or burning out in 2 or 3. As you develop skill with a metal match or a ferro rod, what you'll notice is that it becomes almost trivial to get sparks. But remember, when you first start to do it, it takes a little bit of technique. So just to quickly review, people will grab a hold of that striker and they don't understand the 45-degree angle, the common connection, the straight downward pressure that's required along the roll. So they will literally not push hard enough and they won't get sparks. They'll go at a straight 90-degree angle. They won't get sparks, or they'll pull it across and get a very weak spark, almost nothing, cutting the metal match as they run through. Nice solid pressure, 45-degree angle, straight down, hot shower of sparks. Another common piece, it's effective but not as effective, they'll do a 45-degree angle towards them instead of away. That towards 45-degree angle, if it comes back towards the striker, what you end up with is trailing sparks. Those trailing sparks aren't thrown outward and it makes it a little more difficult to direct those sparks onto whatever it is that you're trying to light. So just to kind of review, down 45 degrees angle, straight, downward pressure, support with your finger, light up the cotton ball.
This is another teaching tip for instructors. I will teach batoning to my high school students. Now I want to show you the technique I use just to keep everybody safe, and you can employ this with your own students as well. The big danger, obviously, when we're working with a knife anywhere around our crotch area is hitting a femoral artery and bleeding out. So I tell my students to stop me immediately if they do not see a tourniquet laying right next to me when I am teaching them. So keep a tourniquet right next to you when you're teaching students how to baton, especially first-time students. The other thing I'll do is I'll have a tourniquet next to me. The other thing I'll do is I want you to imagine a fictitious student here, but what I'll do is I'll have my high school students literally kneel right next to me when they're batoning. I will make the student take the knife out away from them, still having a good steady control of the knife, but having it away from them so that it's safe. The other thing I will do is if I see anything that looks unsafe from the student, I will quickly grab their hand. Now I'm not going to grab the knife hand per se, right at the blade obviously, but I'll grab them back here just to stop them anywhere in the process if I think they're being unsafe. Very rarely have I had to do it, so just don't be afraid to take control of the situation immediately if you see something unsafe.